Hi there. Hola. Bonjour. Konnichiwa. Namaste. And however you say hello in your country. And welcome to the second FFS Summit. And if you're wondering what the hell the FFS Summit is, don't worry. You're not alone. I'm sure all of you are wondering it because I came up with it on the spot. Well, that's not true. I came up with it like a week ago. But anyway, welcome to tonight's event, and I'm glad that you could join us. And I hope you're all comfortable wherever you are with your headphones on your laptops, on your mobile phones, wherever. And I hope you can enjoy what I hope will be an exciting, I suppose, half hour of me explaining what has happened and what will happen. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of it. The FFS Summit itself, that's a little early spoiler for you. So this FFS Summit is going to be an annual event, which we're going to do every year, where we showcase all that we've done in the previous season, as well as the season, and as well as show you or give you a sneak peek as to what to expect from the season that's coming up. So let's start off with 2020-21 season, right? Wow, what a roller coaster of a season it was. I mean, what did we not have? We've had games behind closed doors. We've had the Project Big Picture. We've had the European Super League. We've had protests. We've got so many things. I mean, it's crazy. And yeah, I don't have any words to describe how that season was. I suppose roller coaster of emotions is the best thing that I can use. Now let's start off with season 2, because that's the season that we just completed. Oh, and I forgot, we did cover the Euro 2020 tournament as well, or 2021 in this case. I mean, it was crazy. I can't believe I forgot such an important event like that when there were so many other things because there were so many other things that were going on at that time and before that. So anyway, let's start off with season 2. And as crazy and weird as the 2020-21 season was, capturing every moment of it was equally exciting, terrifying, and you just had to keep up with the pace of it, because every 2 seconds things were changing, and it was crazy to keep up with all of that. So let's start off by talking about season 2, and we'll start off with the episodes. So in season 1, we did a total of 100 episodes. So we did 50 main episodes, and including the sub episodes, it totaled up to 100. And in season 2, we've had a total of 79 episodes. So you can see the breakup. Let me just show it to you. So, I might have forgotten the thing. Yeah. No, here it is. So as you can see, we did 34 episodes of the existing FFS series. We had the addition of the midweek fixture series, which was the shorter series, and we did 34 episodes of that as well. And like I mentioned, we did cover the Euro tournament, so we did 11 episodes of that, 11 watch-along episodes. So a grand total of 34 plus 34, 68 plus 11. Yeah, I was right, 79 episodes. I'm glad that Masters in Economics did not go to waste. Anyway, so that is for season 2. And in terms of the number of guests, so apart from the episodes, we obviously had guests in each episode. In season 1, we had a total of 75 guests, and that has risen considerably in season 2 to a total of 168 guests. Now, granted, a few of them may have been overlapped, but if you take a conservative amount, I'd say we've doubled the number of guests that we've had from season 1, in season 2. And that's incredible, because that means that we've networked with a lot more people this year, and we've had a lot more people interested in being a part of the podcast as well. So fantastic news, and I can't wait to see that number grow even more or even higher in the next coming season. Now, if we talk about the number of countries that we reached, I think we've nearly hit every continent on the planet. So we've hit South America, we've hit the Americas and North America, we hit Africa, we've gone and hosted people from Australia, Europe, and Asia. The only continent that we haven't met or haven't had hosted is Antarctica. So if you know anyone who is a fan and who lives in Antarctica, please do let me know. We'd love to have them on. Um, Granted, I don't know what the internet situation is there, but we'll figure a way out. Awesome. So now let's move on to the outreach. And in the outreach, by outreach, I mean that it's countries that have at least tuned into one episode of the FFS podcast. And in season 1, we had a total of, I think it was 30 odd countries, 33 countries or so. But in season 2, we have reached a total of 67 countries, which is definitely double the amounts of countries since we started, or since season 2 started. And that's crazy because as you can see, I mean, we've hit a lot of countries, and some of them so remote that I wouldn't have thought possible. But we did, and I'm so happy. It shows that people are interested and people do like the podcast that we're putting out there. We're releasing the episodes, the people that we have on. It's something that people do like. So I'm glad for that. And in terms of the number of views that we have gotten, in season 1, we did release 100 episodes and we had a total of 2,000 views at the end of that. And we managed to replicate that same number in the next 5 months or so. But at the end of season 2, after we released the 68 plus, the 11 episodes of the Euro 2020 tournament, we've reached a total of 5,600 views, which is crazy. And this doesn't include the number of YouTube views as well. So this is only from an audio podcast perspective. So it's insane that to think that we have nearly tripled since our launch of season 2. So fascinating. And yeah, I'm really grateful to anyone who's tuned into the podcast. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I can't wait for this number to go higher in season 3 as well, because we've got a whole load of things lined up. And I suppose let's move on to season 3, because we have a lot of things to talk about, and I think that we should devote a majority of our time on season 3 because it is fascinating. So at the end of season 2, we did ask you for a lot of feedback. We got some feedback of it. Most of it positive, obviously a few suggestions here and there, and we've looked to improve on it. We've looked to incorporate all of your suggestions. And guys, welcome to season 3 of the FFS podcast. And if you were to ask me what would be what would be one word to describe season 3, I would say change. Yep. Season 3 is all about change. And yes, in season 2, we did make some changes, but season 3 has so many changes. I think at the end of this event, I'm not going to remember all of that. You're certainly not going to remember all of that. And thank God we've got Twitter and Instagram where I can post all of them again and again so that to remind all of you, because we've got so many changes. It's incredible. I thought of how to make those changes, but it should be incremental. But season 3, third time's the charm. And yeah, I thought what better time than now to kind of make those changes. So let's start off with change 1. As it says a new face, right? And I don't know if anyone has in the past 2 weeks or so been on social media, on any of the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You would have noticed a significant difference, and that is in the logo. We have changed the logo, and I thought it was time. I know the golden football and the headphones was kind of a significant or an iconic logo for the FFS podcast, but we haven't thrown that all away. We have still kept that in place, but we have changed things. And in a more narcissistic point of view, I put myself on the podcast to kind of give a personal feel to it. Yeah, I just wanted myself, and I didn't put myself. I made an avatar of me, and I put it on the podcast there. So on the logo there. So yeah, narcissistic maybe. You'd have to ask my therapist about that. Anyway, so we move on now to the second change, right? And I hope you all like the logo. It'll remain at least for the next year, and I hope for many more years to come before I really need to spice things up more. Yeah, I hope you all like it. So that is change one. And now let's move on to change two. All right, so as you know, with each coming season, there's a sort of theme. Season one was the starting, very beginners, beginning theme, a new beginning. Season two was a lot more in your backyard. So we had the season poster was the wall and the spray paint and very you know football isn't a rich man's sport. It's more for the common people. So it's kind of, sort of honoring that. And for season three, I thought we'd look at, where we all kind of normally go and watch games and have had probably the best memories, and that's like at a pub. That sounds a little weird, but especially in places like the UK or in Europe, people go to the pub often to watch football games, and I thought we'll just honor that part of the game. People enjoying and talking to each other and watching the game and supporting the same team and all of that. So yeah, the overall overarching theme, I suppose, is like a pub sign, so it's a pub theme. And yeah, I guess there's not much to say about that. So we're done with change two, and now we move on to the next big thing, and this is change three. All right, so as you can see, seasonal makeovers. And if you've been following the podcast from season one, you'd have seen the change in the thumbnails that we've been doing. So in season one, it was, like I mentioned, very beginners, amateurish thumbnail with just the color of the club that we're talking about plus a photo. In season two, we made it slightly more elaborate with the wall and the spray paint and stuff like that to signify like a backyard of sorts. And in season three, like I mentioned, we're going with the pub theme. So for the FFS series, so let's move with this. So for the FFS series, we are going all pub theme. So we'll have, we have the pool table, we've got the beers. We've also got the posters. So we got posters of Premier League and different other leagues. And we'll also have posters of the topics that we're going to be doing. So it'll change from episode to episode, which I'm really excited because from an artistic point of view, that's more creative. So let's hope for a better season three thumbnail artwork, I suppose. All right, and the next, okay, so in terms of, this is another change. So in terms of when the episodes will be released for the FFS series, for season one and season two, we did it every Sunday at 7 p.m. GST. But for season three, we are moving it now to Mondays at 5 p.m. GST. And the reason for that, I'll let you know a little while later. But for now, that is the change. So every Monday at 5 o'clock GST, which would mean 6:30 India Standard Time. And you do the math. I clearly get confused about that. So 5 p.m. GST, every episode will be released on all the platforms. The second series that requires a makeover is the MWF series. So in season one of the MWF series, we did the chair and the 4 screens, and we're going to be talking, and we kind of compiled 4 reactions into one video. Whereas now it's a more intimate setting. It's the living room where you're watching your TV. We're going to be doing one game reaction or review rather per episode. So we won't have stuffed 4 into one. You will get 4 different sort of segments, or so 4 different parts. It'll be the same episode number, but it'll have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, where we'll release different reviews separately rather than just have one episode. I feel like that not only gives me enough time to talk about one game with someone, but you can, if you don't support that club, you don't have to listen to that entire episode. You can listen to your part separately. So that's convenience, all right? um, and yeah, like I said, that's the change. And the other change in terms of when the episodes will be released, we normally did it. Season 1 was released every Wednesday at 7 p.m. GST. Now it will be released on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. GST. So I brought it up a day ahead. I just felt like the Tuesdays would normally be wasted because games normally ended on a Monday. But yeah, we'll release it every Tuesday, and I'll explain why we made these changes again a little while later. All right, so that's it for the 2 series that we had. Okay. Of course, with a new season, there will be new additions, and that is change number 4. Yeah, summer editions like transfer window. We've got our additions as well. So let's look at edition number 1. So, like I mentioned, we did cover the Euro 2020 tournament, and we did watch-alongs for it, and it was a whole load of fun. Like talking to people, watching it. The games weren't the best, but at least the conversation that we had with people was really, really engaging, and I can't wait to have more such conversations like that. So the end-to-end series, that's what it's going to be called, is going to be a watch-along series where we're going to be watching games that happen during the midweek. So we're not doing Premier League games over the weekend, Bundesliga games over the weekend, or any other league over the weekend. So we're only concentrating firstly at the midweek games. So that'll be your Champions League games, any sort of FA Cup, Carabao Cup, or any of the Pokal games, big ones, a possible Europa League as well. And yeah, we'll take it by year, but anything that falls either on a Wednesday or Thursday, even if it is a Premier League game that falls midweek, if it's a big one, we will definitely watch along with it. Yeah, we'll do watch alongs of that. So that is the first edition, and that will be released every Friday at 10:30 p.m. GST. Okay, so that'll probably be midnight for Indians, and you can watch that on a Saturday and stuff like that. So that's going to be the first edition, and this is the second edition. Now, I've called it the Corridor of Uncertainty series because I also don't know what videos we're going to be doing in this. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention I actually did mention. So it's going to be watch next. So obviously, it's going to include videos, and for this, the Corridor of Uncertainty, we've got 2 series lined up immediately. So we've got something known as it's called It's Classified, where we're going to be tier listing any topic. Yeah, it could be top Premier League managers. We're going to be tier listing Premier League, Bundesliga clubs. We're going to be tier listing national teams, referees, anything that you think of. We're going to be tier listing under this series. So that's going to be a part of the Corridor of Uncertainty series. It's called It's Classified. And the other one is called the Dressing Room. Now, this is something I'm really, really excited for. So the Dressing Room is kind of like a behind the scenes series where we're going to talk to guests who've appeared on the podcast, and we're just going to talk to them like on a general basis, right? It's just going to be about their life, about how it may not even concern football. It's just going to be talking about how they got in touch with me, or how, what their hobbies are, what their interests are, and stuff like that. It's just going to be a basic, good, wholesome, fun chat. Yeah, it's a chat show. And that's something that I'm really interested for. And we've lined up 10 guests for season 1. And hopefully it might increase, but for now it's only 10 episodes for this. And yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. But like I said, this is a corridor of uncertainty. I don't know how many are going to be there, right? And that's also reflected in the releases. So this will release every Saturday at 10:30 p.m. GST, but it could be anything. It could be a tier listing episode. It could be a dressing room episode. It could be another episode which I haven't even released yet. So like I mentioned, it's a corridor of uncertainty. Anything is possible. So you can catch that every Saturday. at 10:30 p.m. GST. So those are the summer editions, and I'm really excited for all of that. I'm excited for watching Champions League matches with you guys. I'm excited for chatting with you. I'm excited for tier listing. We had a tier listing episode in season 2, which is insane fun. So to do more of that, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and I can't wait for you to watch all of that. Now, yeah, that might have spoiled a little thing, but anyway, let's move on to the next one. And I think this is change number 5. I'm quickly losing count here, but this is change number 5. The presentation will do all the work for me. Yeah, and okay, so I'm not the most socially active person. Okay, especially on Twitter. I can't tweet every 2-second day or every second minute. I can't do any of that. It just is physically impossible. But I will try my level best to be as active on social media as possible. That is my guarantee. And in doing that, we've got 3 things lined up for season 3. We've obviously got the return of the Fantasy Premier League. The link will be up on Twitter. I'll put it out. I know we're already a few weeks into the Premier League start, but you can still join in. If you've joined in season 2, you're automatically part of it. So, I mean, great. But yeah, so season 3 will include the return of the Fantasy Premier League. We'll also have Instagram live chats now. So, whether it be previewing games like Champions League games the day before, we'll do previews. We'll just do general chats if you want to do that. Anything. I mean, we will have live chats often. So, I can't wait for you to be a part of that as well. And the other one is the Clubhouse. Okay, and I am on Clubhouse, or rather the podcast will be on Clubhouse, and we will do the occasional group conversation, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not promising it'll be every day, but again, we will have an interchange between the Instagram live and the Clubhouse audio hosting, whatever they do there, right? So live streaming, I suppose. So we'll do all of that. And yeah, anything else that comes up, I know Clubhouse came up recently, but anything else that comes up, we'll try and be more active as possible. I know Twitter has spaces as well. So whatever it is, we will try and do more live shows, live streaming, or whether it be with fans or me alone. And I'll let you know whenever that happens. Yeah. So I guess that's me trying my level best to be socially active. Next one, we move on to change 6, and this, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else listening in, is the big one. Okay, because we've got, I think, 4 or 5 huge structural changes that we've got in here. The first one, and these are huge surprises. So the first one, yep, we have moved home. And I don't mean that literally, but we were hosted on Anchor. We've now moved our home to Podbean. So any of the links that I've put in previously, especially I think on Instagram, the link tree or whatever they're called, or campsite. It was campsite, yeah, campsite. All the links there have all been changed to the Podbean. Everything's going to direct you to the Podbean site, so you can check it out there. Unfortunately, I couldn't change the posts because those are hella difficult. But I mean, everything right now will all be hosted on Podbean. So that's the big news. So we have moved home to Podbean, and that would allow me to make certain changes for the podcast for the better, to make it more profitable and more sustainable. We have moved to Podbean. So that's the first one. It's a huge thing because yeah, there are things that there are pros and cons to every decision, but this one just seemed right. The next one, and big one. Never mind. So we are now on YouTube. Okay, so For Football's Sake has its own YouTube channel. You can check it out. Again, the link will be up on Twitter and on Instagram. You can check it out. Check us out. You can subscribe to the channel. and I'll play a little the intro video for you right now, so you can get a little feel as to what to expect from the YouTube channel.
The ultimate game of two halves. Another comeback away win for Manchester United in the Premier League. That is 9 successive Premier League away wins.
And we are live. All right, so I hope you enjoyed all of that. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait. I know we mentioned the 2 additional series that we're going to be doing. Those will only be up on YouTube. They won't have a podcast for that. They'll only be up on YouTube. And so, if you want to watch the watch along, it'll be edited, but yeah, the edited watch alongs. You want to see the episode, the tier listing episodes, the dressing room episodes. They'll all be on video. So we are into now video podcast, which is great. All right, that's part 2 of chain 6. Now, part 3. Yep, the FFS podcast now has a website. It's taken me a little bit of time, but I've finally decided that, yep, we needed a place of our own, a place where you can check out all our episodes. You can listen to our episodes on our website. You can check out our guests. So if any other podcast out here is listening to this, and if you want to guest on the podcast, you can get into our guest bank and you can choose from any of those, and you can reach out to me, and obviously I'll get you in touch with whoever you feel like, whoever you want for your podcast. But yeah, we've got like a hell load of things up on the website already, so you can go check it out. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, and I hope you are too. All right, and the last one is we're finally on Patreon. For those of you who don't know what Patreon is, I'm going to show you a small video. Basically, it's a membership program where you can become members. There are different tiers. You can become members of the FFS podcast, become a part of the FFS society, if you will. And there are different tiers, and each tier gives you a certain benefit. And I'll show you a small video so you can check it out on that. And yeah, all the tiers, everything are given there. So that's another major change, and one that I hope will continue and sustain our journey throughout. So let's check out the Patreon video then, shall we? Hi, I'm Pratty once again, and I am the host and founder of the FFS podcast or the For Football's Sake podcast. And as you may be aware, we have recently launched a Patreon page. So you can check it out. The links are on Instagram or on Twitter. I'm here basically to tell you in greater detail about the benefits that we've lined up for you across the various tiers. And I mean, if you want to read it for yourself, like I mentioned, they're all written in greater detail on the website or on the page. But for those of you who don't like to read or, who prefer listening to my voice and watching a video of it, I'm here for that. And this is meant for you. So let's start off with the non-patrons because obviously they're not completely left out. They have the least amount of benefits, but let's talk about them. So what do non-patrons get access to in season 3? So we non-patrons do have access to all of the audio podcasts across the two series, the FFS series and the MWF series. So those were the two series we had in season 2, and they'll continue to be able to have full access to that, as well as the new series that we've launched on YouTube, the E2E series and the COU series. They'll have full access to those as well. All of the full video. I'm not limiting it to anything. So they'll have access to all the audio podcasts as well as the video episodes of the two new series that we've launched. So that's it for non-patrons. We now move on to the patrons and we move to tier 1, or as we've called it, the Conference League. So what do the Conference League patrons get or benefit from? So the first benefit for these patrons is that they will have full access to the video podcast that we do for the existing series. So the FFS and the MWF series, which we shoot, and it used to be only audio podcast. Now there'll be a video podcast for that as well, and only patrons will have full access to that. And if it starts off from the Conference League level as well. It starts from the Conference League level itself. So all of the Conference League patrons will have full access to the video podcast. And also added to that, we will have shout outs. So at the end of every episode, whether it be audio podcast or video podcast or the video episodes on YouTube, we will make sure that your name is called out, and we will make sure that people know how supportive you've been of this podcast. So we won't literally shout your name out, but yeah, it'll appear on the screen, as well as we will call your name out at the end of every episode. So yeah, those are the benefits that you will gain access to or you will benefit from as part of the Conference League tier as a Conference League patron. And now we move on to tier 2, or the Europa League. And for Europa League patrons, you do get the same benefits as the non-patrons and the Conference League patrons. But added to that, you will have access to each of these episodes a day in advance of a day in advance. So basically, the FFS MWF series, which we normally release on Mondays and Tuesdays, you will have early access. So you will have access to them on Sundays and Mondays. So a day before any of the other non-patrons or the Conference League patrons kind of get their hands on it. So, which is great because you don't have to wait for a day to kind of listen or watch. So that is the first benefit. And the second benefit of being in the Europa League will be that you will have access to behind the scenes footage. So, it could be videos that where I show off how I prepare for these podcasts, the process that I undertake in each of the episodes, how I set it up, what are the equipment that I use, all of that, all of the behind the scenes footage you will have access to. And the next thing that you'll also have access to is any sort of extra footage that it may have been lost on the editing, or may have been cut and dropped down onto the editing floor. You'll have access to that. So it could be a small little tidbit that we didn't think had enough sort of, it was too long, or it didn't fit right in terms of the podcast. Or in the actual podcast, you'll get to have access to that. So I mean, that's extra bonus footage and content that you will get access to. Now, that's about it for the Europa League patrons. We now move on to the Champions League patrons, and like the Europa League patrons, you will have the benefits from your predecessors or your lower tier patrons. So you'll have access to bonus content, behind the scenes footage. Uh, you know, it could be the video podcasts, shout outs, all of that. You'll have access to that, plus much more. So when I say much more, you will have veto power in polls. So, for example, if we put out a poll on Twitter or on Instagram asking fans to decide what topic that we could speak on or which game to react to, your say or your vote will have greater weightage. For example, if a non-patron votes for topic A and you as a Champions League patron vote for topic B, your vote counts for 3 times that of the non-patron. So you could literally tilt the scales in your favor and have us react to a game that you want to see, or talk about a topic that you want to hear about. So that's a massive benefit, and I hope you take full advantage of it. And the other benefit that you get as part of the Champions League package or as a Champions League patron is that you will be the first name on our list when we have to decide, when we come up with the guest list for a podcast or a video. So, for example, we're talking about Chelsea, and if you are a Chelsea fan, then we will approach you before anybody else, and you have the opportunity to be on part of multiple podcasts now, get your opinions heard more than any of the other non-patrons or the lower league tier patrons. So it's a massive step, and all it doesn't only limit yourself to audio podcasts. So even if we do Instagram live chats or Clubhouse stuff, you will be given priority. You will be the top name on that list, and who doesn't want that, right? I mean, to be the first name on a list, well, beats being the last. So yeah, I mean, those are the magnificent benefits that we have lined up for you, the Champions League patrons. And lastly, we move on to the Super League patrons. Okay, this is like tier 4, the mega tier. And for these patrons, they have all of the benefits that we've already mentioned. Plus, they have the option of demanding, I was trying to find the right word, but demanding to do their own episodes where they can talk about any topic they want to. So it's basically bonus episodes where I can sit down with you one on one and we can do a podcast just by ourselves. And it's all up to you. So if you want to have a podcast on a Tuesday, even if it's not on schedule, you can say, Praddy, I want to do it. I'm free on a Tuesday only. Let me know. And we will obviously figure something out, but we will definitely get a podcast done just with you. And if you want to have people on, that's also fine. But yeah, you get to dictate what you want to hear, and I cannot disagree with that. Yeah, and the last thing is, like I did mention, we do have this annual event where we showcase, the not only the previous season but whatever new series or the new additions that are coming for next season. So you'll have a sneak peek at that. You'll also be invited for the annual event. So like you will be the first ones to see the new lineups, the new artwork, everything like that. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait. Hopefully, if in time, if we are able to kind of meet or have this live event, then yeah, I mean, you'll definitely be the first ones to on that invite list. So I guess those are the benefits that have been lined up for you for now. Should there be any changes, I will obviously let you know either on the Patreon page or on social media, but do not fret. But for now, I do not anticipate any major changes. And so, yeah, these are the benefits lined up for you. And I hope you, enjoy all of it. I mean, it's some really interesting stuff that we're hoping to do. And yeah, like I said, can't wait to interact with you the next year or so. More interaction, more entertainment. So I guess that's about it for now. I'll catch you all soon. I'm your host, Prady, once again. You stay safe and see you. Wow. I guess, I mean, that's about it. It's been, I don't know how many minutes it's been, but I guess we are done for the day. I mean, that's all we had for this event. It's been a lot of changes. I know there's a lot of information that you're going to be processing right now. You know, the website, the YouTube, the new additions, the Patreon program, all of that. But you know what? This is anyway going to be a video, so you can go back, click, rewind, stop, play, pause, slow down, whatever you want to hear. And yeah, but anyway, all of this will be on Twitter and on Instagram as well, so you can check it out there. I'll post all of this there. So yeah, I suppose that's about it. So thank you once again for joining us for the FFS Summit. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I hope you're excited for the new lineup and the whole load of changes we're bringing to you. And I'll catch you all soon. So I guess that's it for the second FFS Summit. I'll catch you all next year, I suppose. But in terms of this, I'll catch you all on the first episode of season 3. Otherwise, so that's it for this summit. I'm your host, Prady, once again. You stay safe and see you.